Hello friends, I hope you are well. I'm sure you're all hungover from spending money this week from the PlayStation 5 launch, which saw all consoles sell out in Australia, actually, in fact, the whole world, and now they are taking orders for delivery in 2021. Then we had the Nvidia 3080 launch, or 30,000 series, which led to websites crashing at many of the retailers around Australia. And again, sold out. Unfortunately, no AMD to take customers, nor are there SKUs to lessen the burden on the 3080. But that's just the way it is. Nvidia seems to create this scarcity in the world at the moment. It's like the toilet paper apocalypse all over again, except with tech. What is going on? Actually, my best guess is no one is spending money on travel, so the only way to get to, let's say, new places is via gaming consoles and graphics cards. I guess well done to the retailers. Oh, and don't forget Apple's new lineup of iPads and watches and the release of iOS 14. Let me know if you managed to snag any of these tech goodies. Welcome to the Dirt Report, Aussie tech news galore. Make sure to like and subscribe if you would like to see more. So let's see what's in the news today. The ACCC is calling Facebook's Bluff. Telstra is blocking phishing SMS, and not the kind of phishing that you enjoy. Netflix and YouTube open up the pipes, and Service New South Wales app gets contact tracing, sort of. Then on the international tidbits, we have Trumpy being Trump, and Nvidia buying new toys, and YouTube making you pay more. Let's roll the intro. First up, we have the ongoing saga of the ACCC versus Facebook and Google, and it looks like things are heating up. It has been a rather quiet week on each front, with each side taking a breather this week. However, after Facebook's announcement of the nuclear approach, the ACCC responded with, "It's their call." Facebook said they will block users from sharing news content on their social media platforms if the ACCC goes ahead with the new laws. Something I know many men will feel sounds oddly familiar when they hear "do what you want." In any case, it's Facebook's call, and now we shall see what they do. If you remember, this whole debacle started with the ACCC's challenging Google and Facebook to pay Australian news media outlets a share of their profits from using the news media's content on their platforms. In a speech via Zoom, which is very millennial of him, Rod Sims said, "It would be a shame for Australian democracy, and it would be a shame for Facebook users if they took that course of action in regards to Facebook blocking people from sharing news." Sims knows many people nowadays get their news from Facebook, but would it be a threat to Australian democracy if people couldn't let their stupidity flow in the comment section below a news article on Facebook? But most of the time, when you hear of something big happening, it's because one of your friends shared it online, or a news outlet you like posted the article on there. However, it also means that spread of fake news and the ludicrous conspiracy theories is rampant across Facebook. Now, as I questioned in a previous video, would these media companies even have any traffic if it wasn't for Google's search and Facebook? I kind of doubt it, to be honest. Now, apparently Google has already struck some deals, bending the knee in fact, but they did warn that this may hurt Google's search results. This is my main worry. If I search on Google, I don't want to be shown results from media outlets that were big enough to secure special deals with Google to be shown on that main results page. It literally means if you have enough power, you can mute all other voices because you're dealing with Google. And we know which media outlets have that sway. On the other hand, Google and Facebook are so big, they profit off others' works and they kind of seem untouchable. So why shouldn't they pay? I just think the ACCC should be backing up the ATO and going after those companies to pay their fair share of tax. That to me seems like a better result, and a lot of people would back that. In any case, let me know below your thoughts. Will this issue even get solved anytime soon? Should news media outlets be compensated when their content is shared online? Let's move on to our next story. In an M. Night Shyamalan sort of twist, Telstra has done some good deeds this week. They have been working with the Australian Cybersecurity Centre to create a filter-like system that can catch phishing scams SMS. You may have seen some of these. They are the ones that come from a real-looking number or even spoofed name, like a link asking you to update details or to do something else, with the final outcome of you paying money to scammers instead of the MyGov, Centrelink Services Australia or other government agencies. In a post on Telstra's website that I have linked below, CEO Andy Penn, with his giant list of accolades, said, In the 2019 to 20 financial year, almost 920 Service Australia customers reported scam losses totaling more than 6.4 million, an increase of 500,000 from the previous year. Telstra will be using metadata to identify illegitimate SMS traffic spoofing using Telstra's sender IDs on our network. The proof of concept has been successfully trialled, rejecting messages coming from unapproved sources from reaching our customers. He added that Telstra blocks around 1 million scam calls each month and 20 million suspicious emails every day. This is all due to Telstra's Cleaner Pipes initiative, a name that I really like. However, no good deed goes unpunished, and at this stage it is only a proof of concept with some major limitations. As scammers get more clever and try to beat out the filter, it could cause a cat and mouse game. This will not completely eradicate these types of scams, but it may at least clean some pipes in the process. Let me know below if you or anyone you know fell prey to an SMS scam in the last 6 months. Let's move on. Netflix and YouTube have been the bane of NBN's existence since the day they opened up shop. You may remember the proposed Netflix tax, and I guess their approach was, oh hey, this thing is causing us problems, tax it. That will help. In any case, as Australians make their way back to the office, Netflix and YouTube have decided it's time to turn the internet bandwidth valve back up to full blast. So around the 22nd of September, expect either the internet to collapse into a black hole or major slowdowns. The problem Australians are facing is the way NBN Co is using the CVC pricing model to run the NBN. You may remember that recently they extended the extra bandwidth allocations for a few more months, and it's that has been keeping complete annihilation at bay. Sure, I am exaggerating, but when this ends and YouTube and Netflix turn off the bitrate restrictions on their platforms, there will be a fairly severe reaction on the NBN network. Prices have already gone up to compensate for the ridiculous NBN pricing model in the first place. Now we will see a reduction of allocated CVC, and then as it increases the throughput from the biggest video streaming websites, unfortunately, it's just not going to end well. RSPs will be hit with heavier traffic, and those who haven't already purchased more CVC to compensate will see peak times slowdowns return. Aussie Broadband's Philip Britt has been extremely vocal in the last few weeks in regards to what will happen next and what NBN Co can do about it. I have linked some of his thoughts below if you'd like to dwell a little bit deeper. Next up, good news everybody, more apps to track and trace. Luckily it's not a new app, and hopefully it's not going to affect you in particular in any bad way. You may also be aware that Google and Apple have finally released their device level tracing updates, so each and every one of your devices now has a tracing API. So Services New South Wales app has had a QR code added that will be scanned at venues to track and trace who came into contact with anyone who later may become COVID positive. This is a stark difference from the previous approach, which was here is a piece of paper and a pen, and use the same pen for everybody in line trying to get into a venue. Write down your details and move on. I appreciate the smarts behind it and the fact that they thought about this issue. After all, the app is already in use for a few other things. This could give it a bit more value for the companies and people. Overall, around 2.2 million New South Wales residents have had their Service New South Wales app. This is up from 1.7 million last month. However, there are still another 5 million who have a My Service New South Wales account, but not the app. Let me know below if you are in New South Wales and have been using the My Service app. What are your thoughts on adding this little feature? And if you haven't got it already, why haven't you? And while you are there in the comments, make sure to tap that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I do really appreciate it, and it helps this channel out a whole lot. Let's jump into some international tidbits. And of course, making headlines around the world is America's Cold War with China, because that's what it is. It's a cold tech war. Trumpy Trump this week has signed off an order that was issued by the US Commerce Department to block new users from downloading TikTok in the United Freedom States of America as of September 20th. The full order was published by the Department of Commerce on Friday morning, so here is a little excerpt. Any transaction by any person or with respect to any property subject to the jurisdiction of the United States with ByteDance Ltd, who owns TikTok and is Chinese, shall be prohibited to the extent permitted under applicable law. Microsoft has dropped out of bidding for the chance to buy TikTok, and so it's back on the chopping block per se, including WeChat and a few other popular Chinese apps. The cold tech war continues. Tune in next week when Trumpy Trump does an oopsie and China responds. I guess this season's going to continue on for a while. Let me know your thoughts below. Should Australia be doing the same? Next up is Nvidia. This story has nothing to do with the RTX 3000 series. Instead, Nvidia is using their large pool of money, like I mean large pool of money, to buy ARM for 40 billion American freedom dollars. ARM is a successful British-based microchip company that designs software and semiconductors that are used in a multitude of consumer products. Some of you may be even holding one in your hand right now, such as an Apple device, Samsung smartphones, Nintendo consoles, and many more. Its chips designs are increasingly used in the growing Internet of Things industry. They are power efficient, powerful, and run lightweight code. Much of ARM's success comes from its neutrality, as it doesn't compete with any of the other companies it licenses its designs to. However, Nvidia is not known to play nice with others. In fact, they love to lock things down and not collaborate. They tend to create ecosystems that only benefit them and obviously their users. This is why Nvidia buying ARM has stunned the tech world. Many of ARM's customers and partners have built their business models around ARM's designs, secure in the knowledge that ARM is not their actual competitor. But this could change dramatically if Nvidia gets ARM in their hands. After all, many of the companies who work with ARM compete with Nvidia right now. But let's be frank, this is a great business move for Nvidia, not so much for everyone else. But there may be a glimmer of hope, as there have been also rumors of Nvidia selling their GPU designs into the ARM ecosystem, which could mean Nvidia's designs could become sort of a platform for other companies to build GPUs of their own. A very good example of this is actually Chromium. Google released Chromium and people build their own browsers based on that platform. And so this could be very exciting and in turn make Nvidia more open, but only time will tell. Let me know your thoughts below. Nvidia's kind of picky when it comes to how much they charge for things, and it's usually very expensive for what you get. Finally, our last topic. I personally don't like paying twice for one thing, and I certainly don't like paying for a feature that is inside my device already. And you know what? It's even worse when the feature makes using the device better. So when Apple released a feature that Android has had for a long time in iOS 14, I was a bit disappointed to find out you cannot use picture-in-picture on YouTube unless you have premium subscription to YouTube. I feel they are locking off a feature that is advertised by the manufacturer of the device, e.g. Apple, and the app should have nothing to do with what the device can or cannot do. I think Apple should look into this, as it is literally making their devices kind of bad. But it could all just be a bug and sort itself out soon. Nonetheless, just like not being able to play YouTube in the background unless you have YouTube Premium, this move by YouTube is actually quite ridiculous. Let me know your thoughts below. And on that bombshell, we have to end this episode. Friends, thank you very much for watching. Make sure to tap that like button, wherever it is, if you did, and subscribe to support this channel. Amazingly, we are nearly at 10,000 subscribers, which is pretty darn exciting. Hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Tune in next week for another round of Aussie tech news and other tech videos during the week. See you then. Bye!